lovely and darling viewers, it's Jen here at Check Her Joy, and this time I'm reviewing Superman Birthright, The Origin of the Man of Steel. This is a 12-issue run from DC Comics from 2003 and 2004. Writing and art is by Mark Waid, Leinil, Francis Yu, and Gerry Alanguilan. All those names are down in the description below. This is a modern Superman origin story. It takes place in the early 2000s, and it really focuses on Clark Kent and why he dons the persona of Superman. And I really love the way that it explores Clark's character, and there are definitely things that he can do as Clark Kent, the journalist, as a reporter, as the average everyday person, that Superman in his costume can't do, even with, flight and super strength and X-ray vision and freeze breath. Like, there are limitations to Superman, and Clark, gets to shine as Clark Kent, the reporter, in this, which I adore. I love the Clark Kent half of him. I love both sides of Superman and love watching him try to balance them. Gotta say, I love this title page with all of Clark's different eyes that are different sides of his persona. It's just awesome. So, ta-da. Starting off with that art-wise. So this comic starts off with Clark's Kryptonian parents sending him off to Earth, and why they're doing it. I mean, yes, the planet is exploding, but we also get this kind of touch that they don't know what's going to happen. They don't know if Clark's actually going to make it to Earth safe, if he's actually going to survive. And it's a really touching scene. It has me bawling my eyes out when I was reading this. There's actually a lot of scenes in this that just had me crying. So, Clark Kent, the alien from outer space, who comes to Earth, crash lands, gets adopted by Martha and Jonathan Kent, and gets raised as a normal boy. So the story really starts off when Clark's in his 20s, and we see him in Africa. He's a freelance journalist at this point, and he's covering the story following this one tribe in Africa as they try to gain representation in the country that they're in. So there is a different tribe in power that controls everything, and the tribe Clark is following just wants representation. They want a say, they want a voice, they want to be involved. And the group that he's following are really just viewed as revolutionaries and as dangerous to the government. So Clark's trying to tell their story also. There's also tons of little touches in here with part of it's modern technology. We see Clark emailing his mom back and forth, but also get to see him just being himself, enjoying being out on the African plain and really getting to test his powers without anybody being there to see it, and how he tries to understand. Clark grows up as a human, he's raised as a human, so he has a pretty good idea about human nature and stuff, but he also has this this tablet with Kryptonian history, and he's trying to figure out where he came from. He doesn't speak the language, so even though there's these videos showing, he doesn't know what's actually being said. All he sees are these pictures of Krypton. He's still trying to figure out how he fits into the world and where he's actually come from. He knows he's an alien, but he doesn't know how he got to be here. He only has half the story about his past. So basically there is an assassination attempt in here on the tribe that Clark is following and one of the people that he befriends, and he tries to use his superpowers to save everyone, and that really pushes him to think about donning an alter ego and becoming the superhero and flying out to save everyone and use his powers for good. He has them, he has some control over them at this point, and he's trying to figure out how he can combine his love of truth and justice and trying to protect people, how to translate that into using his powers also. So he decides to don the S in the costume. We also follow Clark as he goes to Metropolis and tries to land that job at the Daily Planet. I love the fact that he gets the interview in the first place because he has this repertoire of work set up from his freelancing. It's not just this magical, oh, I know somebody from the small newspaper who used to work with Perry or something. Perry recognizes Clark's talent already to some degree to at least get the interview, and then he goes in there and tries to prove himself. We also see him when he first meets Lois Lane and how Clark falls head over heels with her the first time he sees her. And of course, the thing that makes him come out as being Superman is saving Lois and Jimmy. Pretty iconic scene there. There's also a story arc in here with Lex Luthor, and we get to find out about Lex's past in this version of the origin story. Lex and Clark have both grown up together in Smallville, and Lex is trying to distance himself from that. He pretends he doesn't recognize Clark, doesn't know him, never been to Smallville. But we get to see flashbacks of the two of them growing up together and being friends. And we also get to see what happened, that they're not friends anymore. And definitely get to see Lex's ego at play in here and how much of a god complex he has. So at least for the last few issues, the main like fight conflict thing going on in here is that Lex Luthor tries to discredit Superman by creating this army of villains, other Kryptonians, aliens. He doesn't actually know they're from Krypton, but he knows that this guy's got to be an alien, and so he creates this alien army that's going to try to take over and tries to convince people that Superman's actually like the advance guard who's come here to like make us all warm up to them so that we'll gladly accept them when they come to take over. And Lex tries to expose them, even though there's actually not an army out there. It's basically just robots and Clark trying to fight them as Superman. But what I really love about this comics is how important Clark Kent, the reporter, is to defeating this plot as well. That it's his investigative reporting and the story that kind of wins the battle. So this one is a great one to pick up if you've never read Superman before and you want to jump into it, because it's the origin and it'll explain who he is, why he's doing it, and who all these characters are. But it's also really good if you have been reading Superman and you love him and you want more, just more Superman. And there are tons of odes to old comics and the movies and the television shows. I like it. It's optimistic. And really the importance of truth to both Clark, the journalist, and Superman, the superhero. Yeah. So, peace out. I love you guys and keep reading. Bye.